Hello world, I am Robinson Recalde and this is Introduction to HTML course. Thanks for watching edupediaword.com. Let's start with today's lesson. Today's lesson is Plan for the website. In the world of HTML and web programming, we need to understand a lot of things. Practical concepts, base concepts, and of course how to sell ourselves as a programmer. It is pretty difficult to know what to do with a web page. It's not as simple as to say, okay, I will make a website about pets and that's it. No faults. It's not. You need to plan for your website. You need to know what you will be offering, what your audience will be, your goals, structure, and of course, the content. I'm speaking here as if I'm teaching you to be a webmaster and not only a web programming person. If you want to only be the person that makes PSD to HTML or HTML to dynamic pages, feel free to skip this video. But if you want to be a complete webmaster and a businessman, please watch this video in its entirety. First, we need to start with how to identify the target audience. This is the very first point in today's video. Everything we're going to see in this video will be mainly in theory and not practical, but it is still useful. For example, if you are creating a website for a business, a group, or let's say an organization of any sort, you are most likely targeting people who might buy or use the company's products or services. You need to know that even when your website is mainly about information about something, you are targeting an audience. For example, if you are creating a website for a gym to sell the gym services, you are targeting the audience that will probably go to the gym and not all of them that do not like to go to the gym, right? It's an example that is really simple and easy to understand. When you are identifying your audience, you need to consider whether you have existing research regarding your client or user base. It would include demographics, statistics, or other marketing information, such as age, gender, and web experience. All of these concepts are important and will add important information to the development of the web page. In case you are developing something brand new, let's say a page for a new company, you might want to use the competition's information. It could be of tremendous help. But now you are perhaps wondering why you need to learn about this stuff. Why you need to learn about how to do things with the audience. Will it influence in any way to your work? You must know right now that it will interfere with your work and with your design decisions. After you target your audience, you will need to start thinking about how many groups they can be. For example, new customers, current customers, and potential customers. If you have, for example, an online store, this will be very important, because the current customer will need perhaps a user interface different from the potential user. The potential customer or potential user may need some guidance about what to shop, while the current customer has some data on the page so you know what she or he likes. If you think about this closely, you will discover you need to make some table to put all the information without making any misconceptions. When you're planning for your website, you need to identify your target audience, set goals for your site, create your website structure, organize your website's content, and for the last, develop your website's navigation. Now, let's go to the part of the set goal theme. This is something that we use to identify your target audience, what to do and what not to do. What you need to do is everything that I just said, looking for the data if you have the data of the website or you are making a new website, a new brand website for a new brand organization. So you need to use the competitors' information. What not to do. Assume you know everything about your audience and putting everything mixed up. Like if you are selling some product, you need to know that the current customer will know why he or she is buying the product, but a new customer will not. So you need to target your audience and separate the content into new customers and current customers. This is really important. So this is the part of the set goals. Every day at today's giant internet industry, millions of web pages are being created with every minute that passes. The internet industry is clearly one of the most difficult businesses of all. You will face there a lot of competition and a lot of talented people who will want to crush your bones against the most awful wall you can imagine. Remember that it's all about being competitive. So, if you want to be a 10, you will need a whole plan based on your goals. I like to put this on my table as a whole chart where I can draw all that I want on my web page. For instance, I need to sell products or services. This is a correct example. I need to make my customer feel like he's being hard while he's talking with a customer service. I need to entertain, educate, or what do I need? This is one of the most important questions when we're developing our web page, because it will put a mark in our future and in our website's future. We need to remember this if we want to make a whole plan based on real facts. Always remember the goals when developing the site to avoid unnecessary content. Now, let's go to one of the most important part of the process for creating a web page, the structure, the content, and the navigation. Let's start with the structure. Once you have your site's goals according to your target audience, you will see a structure forming. If you want to make a structure, you will need perhaps to use flowcharts to put all your content inside. Use one little image where you can edit all by the paper and then turn it into the computer. In this way, you will not be a mess. The content. All the content for the site should fit under each of the topic areas in the site structure. Remember that in the structure you will define what you will put in the site and what you will not. The content should be enough for one new visitor to know all the things you are offering without any further questions. But still you will need to put a contact form if you want your site to be taken seriously. So, the navigation. After you have everything created, you will need to put a navigation bar in your website. I highly recommend to put one that is always with you in all moments while you are on the page. In this way, if someone wants to get back to the home page, that person will be able to do so without any problem. To make our navigation, we will have to put a set of rules so we can make it right. For example, it is really important to highlight the current section where we are now on the website. Why is this? Because perhaps the viewer opens the section and suddenly forgets why, so highlight the section on any way is really an important matter. Here at this image, you can see how the navigation is made, alongside with the structure of the web page. The navigation is something important you must do before you launch your website, because you need to have an inner order on your web, because if you do not, you will hardly have a good organization on your public website. Here, you can see that the home page is the main page, the index page, index.html. There you have the main sections, which are the site index. For example, about us, categories, products, contact form, etc. On those main sections, you will have subsections. For example, the categories, books, electronics. I don't know what else. Furniture, if you are making some online shop, for instance. Now, I will go to this little example to show you how a good navigation is made. We are going to see the apple.com website. Hello friends. So here we are in the Apple web page to show you how a good navigation is made. For example, if I go here to put any section, you will see how the text on the section is highlighted. For example, I want to go to the iPad section and it's highlighted. And when I'm there, it's still highlighted. So I know that I am in the iPad section. And if I go to another section, it will highlight a little bit brighter, right? Something like more soft. Something softer, sorry. And here I have the Apple from Apple company. So I can click here and go to the home page. Here you have everything organized, and you can see even the sitemap. The sitemap is the navigation that we are going to develop here. For example, we have About Apple, Contact Us, Software Services, Public Relations, Investors Working at Apple, Diversity, etc., etc., etc. So here you have everything that you need. For example, this is navigation for the Mac. Please note that Apple sitemap, this is the index. This Apple here is the index, index.html. Apple info is one of the sections. Mac is one of the sections too. iPhone is the other. Apple Watch, iPad, iPod, iTunes, Apple Music, iOS and iCloud downloads support. Those are the sections, and here you have the subsections of the website. It is really easy to understand this when you are looking directly in a web page. If I go to the music section, which is new, you will see how you have still your navigation bar here. And you have here in the navigation bar another navigation bar, which is the bar with the navigation bar of this section. Apple tends to divide the website in different sections. Section Music, Watch, iPhone, as I told you before. And then on that section they have the subsections in this little menu where you put, for example, Discover, and you go to all the music you already have, and you will see how the first menu is gone, and now you have only the second menu. But if you go into here music, you will go to the home page of the section. Apple is what we can call a multi-site, but not quite a multi-site as, for example, the Time magazine. Let's see the Time magazine. In the Time magazine, we have exactly the same, but not in the design, but in the structure. The structure in all web pages are always the same. You have your home page, you have your menu, which is going to follow you all alongside when you are on the page. And if I click here, you will see how I go to another folder. You can identify it by this. Politics is another folder in the web page, and this is a multi-site. Web pages in web pages. I have a grand web page. It's like a huge organization. For example, I have the Apple organization, and here I have more organizations like Mac, iPad, iPhone that are my products, but they are sold under the name of Apple. But to build them, you have, for example, the iPhone administration bar, the iPhone administration console, the iPhone building, the iPhone team that is developing the iPhone, but is separate from the other sites, only that is in the same building. You can see that this is like, for example, a university too. You have the main university, but in the university you have faculties, like humanities, like science, for example. All of them belongs to the university, but are like separate from them, right? It's really simple to understand it. Imagine you have your home, and inside your home you have bedrooms. They are part of the house, right? But they are like individual parts of the house, even when they are part of the house. It's the same thing for the website, for the multi-site. Exactly. In the multi-site, you have, for example, a separate site for the iPhone, a separate site for the iPad, but they all belong to one site. It's like the headmaster sites of all the sites you are going to see in this web page. So, I wanted to show you this, and this is all the examples you need to know by now. So, hope to see you soon in later videos.